Hey folks, my name is Heather, books are my happy place, and I've been wanting to check in with you guys for a while, since Tome Topple, but to be honest with you, this is the first evening that I've had enough energy to be on camera without being half asleep. So, how are you guys doing? How did Tome Topple treat you? My experience was not as expected. Hi, honey. Hi there. Sorry, kitty interruption. My experience was not as expected, but that doesn't mean it was negative. What ended up happening... Pardon the cat. What ended up happening was, the week of Tome Topple, my mental health wasn't doing so great. So I changed my mind about some of the more hardcore, heavy material that I was wanting to get into, especially like the Hemmings of Monticello, you know, things to do with slavery and stuff like that. I just wasn't in the right headspace for it. So I shelved that one for the moment. I got about 50 pages into Victoria the Queen, and I was enjoying it. It was going great. I was annotating along and all these things, but somewhere along the line, it's just, I wasn't able to focus on it very well. You know, sometimes a book, it's just not the right moment for a book, and it's just not holding you. So I ended up putting that aside, and towards the very end of the week, I picked up The Witches by Stacy Schriff, and this turned out to be the one that I really connected with. So Tome Topple ended up being sort of a matchmaking experiment for me, but in the end I found my match. Right now I am alternating between annotating the physical copy and listening to the audiobook. I'm really getting a lot out of that. What I'll do is I'll listen to some of the audiobook when I get the chance during the day, and then in the evening, if I have enough energy, I'll go back to the section that I listened to during the day and annotate and make note of things that I'd like to look into more, dig deeper a little bit, and a nice little extra. Those of you out there that are fans of the Lore podcast, you might be aware that Aaron Mahnke has another podcast going called, again, pardon the cat, sorry. All right, Aaron Mahnke has another podcast going right now called Unobscured, where he does a deep dive into a historical event and speaks with professional historians, interviews them about the event, about work that they've done on it, and, you know, to bring their insight. And the first season of Unobscured is focused on the Salem witch trials. So what I'm doing is, so far, is I'm listening to an episode of Unobscured, listening to a chapter of this, and sort of alternating. And so far they're roughly lining up. I'm only about 3 chapters / 3 episodes in. But so far they're roughly lining up, and I think it's because this book is one of the sources for this season of Unobscured. So they may continue to line up pretty well, but so far I'm really enjoying that. This is one of my favorite periods of history. The colonial period, broadly, from like 1600 to 1800. And I particularly am fascinated by this period for a lot of reasons, but mainly because it's our roots. This is where we started as a country, as far as where our culture has taken us at this point. Of course, there were people here before these people. I'm not trying to discount that or suggest that those people don't count. But these folks are the ones that sort of built the culture that we then, as their descendants, as their posterity, as our forefathers put it, got to then deal with. And we are still, in many ways, sorting out their mess. So that's why this sort of span of roughly 200 years is, I keep coming back to this in my own personal study and my own personal reading, both fiction and nonfiction. So I am loving this right now. Loving this and the Unobscured podcast, and just sort of experiencing the story from both points of view, through the podcast form and through book form. So this is really what I've been working on since Tome Topple. I finished Dracula, which was the buddy read that I was doing before Tome Topple. I liked it, didn't love it. Both myself and the person I was buddy reading with agreed that it could have done with more Dracula. He's really more of a catalyst for action for the heroes, and a symbol, like a symbol of evil, a symbol of the threat of what one can become, rather than a character in his own right. He's there, and he's a character to a degree, but he's not there as much as you would expect him to be, for his name being the title of the novel. So that was fine. I liked it, didn't love it. It was like a 3-star. So I was wanting to sort of catch you guys up on what's been going on. Oh, that's right. I knew I finished another book recently. I also recently finished the audio version of The Wife Between Us, which is a 2018 thriller that, is very popular. And folks have been talking a lot about that. Again, liked it, didn't love it. I'm not majorly a thriller person. This might be the first book I've ever read that can technically be categorized as a thriller, in fact. Not like a horror, something on the psychological horror spectrum, but, something more domestic thriller. The Wife Between Us might be the first one for me. So just know that that's the angle that I'm coming from. The twist, well, there's actually 2 twists at the end. I won't go into detail, obviously. Don't want to spoil you, but the first twist, super clever. It got me. The second twist, it was fine, and I get that it was trying to tie the, sort of the A plot and the B plot together to a degree. But I'm not sure how I felt about it. I have mixed feelings about that second twist. On the one hand, I do like that it ties the A and B plots together. I kept waiting, throughout the novel. I kept waiting for those 2 plot lines to intersect. So I like that they intersect, but at the same time, I just don't know. I feel like that might be a little too much of a coincidence. Even though it was, it was deliberate on the part of the characters, it's still, I don't know, I guess it just feels a little bit too neat, maybe. I don't know. I might be being too hard on it. Anyway, that was a 3-star for me, too. And The Wife Between Us was actually the last book that I needed to read to complete my Goodreads reading challenge for the year. It was 50 books for 2018. So that's done, but that doesn't mean that I'm done reading. I'm still really in a reading mood, and I'm trying to decide where I want to go next on that. I have lots of unread books. Lots. I'm actually planning on making a whole video talking about that. But I've plenty of my own books to explore, and I like to juggle. So at the same time as I am hanging out with Stacy Schriff and the folks of Salem Town and Salem Village, I'm hoping to decide on something else to pick up. I'm having a little trouble deciding what kind of mood I'm in. I don't know, maybe short story collection, or maybe I was thinking about Of Fire and Stars, maybe doing the same thing that I'm doing with The Witches, a combination of audio and physical. To be honest with you guys, I actually pre-ordered this book back in 2016, and for one reason or another, I just have not gotten around to it until now. And I think that the lighter tone of this might be a nice complement to the slightly more hardcore content that we've got going on here. But anyway, I just wanted to check in with you guys and let you know what I've been reading, what I've been thinking about in the sort of bookish sphere, and hopefully chat with you guys. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know how close you are to finishing your Goodreads goal. Let me know what kind of goals, if any, you're thinking about setting for next year. Whatever is on your mind in the sort of bookish sphere of things, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to chat with you in the comments. Alrighty. Nice to check in with you guys again, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.